Macrothea Builder Worlds. This is going to be a Judge Dredd miniatures game tabletop build. Yes, it is. It's still only the middle of January and we're already working on our next video. That's for a couple of things. Before I go anywhere else, I've got to say massive thank you to the huge response that my last video got. The first video of 2024, a Judge Dredd build for this stuff over here. I could talk about that in a minute. Had more views than anything I made since July back in 2022. So even more views than most Necromunda stuff. And I was really blown away. Blown away for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wasn't very active last year and I didn't produce masses of video content. And I was worried that people had gone away and weren't watching. That's not the case. So thank you for being loyal and sticking with me and hanging on to see what other nonsense I come up with in my various workshops. That was cool. Secondly, I was really surprised with the amount of actual interest Judge Dredd generates. Not that it's a really cool thing, it's worthwhile, you know, getting involved with. And there are many of us out there who've loved Dredd since the 80s. But when I've been kind of like looking around, I'm a member of loads of different wargaming groups on Facebook, you know, be them Necromunda ones of B&B, Age of Sigmar, Silver Blade, Frostgrave, Stargrave. I mean a couple of Judge Dredd ones, and they don't have massive membership, which I thought meant it was a fairly niche game. But actually, it's quite interesting how there have been a lot of people who have been very interested in this build. So thank you so much for watching the last video. It's really cool. This one, as I said, is going to be a build for Judge Dredd miniatures game, and I'm specifically trying very carefully to try and get the Judge Dredd kind of aesthetic through the way I feel and see how it works, you know. Oh, by the way, don't worry about me beard, hang on. There you go. I know otherwise if I left that tucked in there'd be people go, oh my god, it's cut all his beard off. I ain't going to trim a load of it. Anyway, where was I? I am bothered about getting the Judge Dredd, the Mega City one, the comic aesthetic going on in my games. I want my Dredd games to be big and expansive and inside and outside Mega City blocks. So I'm not that much interested in the Cursed Earth or City Bottom and cheating and just having post-apocalyptic stuff. But it is going to be, to a certain degree, generic sci-fi. So I'm pretty damn sure that this build and the last lot, all the Hab stuff, will work perfectly well if you play Osprey's Rogue Stars. Although I'm pretty sure this game has very much been superseded and shunted to one side by this big beggar, which I've only got the first edition of, which of course is also Osprey. It's Joe McCullough's excellent Stargrave system, and there are loads of people out there I'm sure playing this. Or you might play the kind of like the battle system stuff, the core space games, although it comes with loads of terrific terrain of its own kind of like variety. And I reckon this will probably work for various kind of like civilized parts of the Star Wars world as well, universe. So it's a pretty good generic kind of like thing, but I'm specifically going for that Judge Dredd aesthetic. So thanks for hanging out with me if you're here just for that. Another really cool thing about this last video and your response to it was the amount of comments I got, which is brilliant. I always love talking to people about what I'm doing, and this one was kind of cool because some people I chatted about the Dredd movies and we talked about comics, but there were loads of people who also had ideas and wanted to make comments about the models itself, which is really cool. One thing in particular was great was the conversations about these walkways that we've got here. It's pointing the ones that help. Because I stuck them on the outside. I hadn't put an enormous amount of thought into the balconies as to what I wanted, because I'd seen in my mind, and originally I'd just seen the whole plastic stack as the building structure, and then things like balconies would get stuck on the outside. A number of people made various suggestions which were really cool about the external balconies, like maybe you could use magnets to put them on there, and I never think magnets. I don't know why I never think magnets, I just don't, but that might work. And we even had suggestions for Velcro and stuff, but actually Wayne Clayton has probably come up with the best idea, I think, which was actually don't have external balconies at all. Set the balcony inside the structure, move the apartment blocks back inside, which I was reluctant to do to start off with because I thought, nah, well, I'm going to lose some of the size of the apartments, but then it doesn't matter because I'm not actually trying to detail the interior, all of these things, trying to give that that tightness. and actually making the apartments a bit smaller will make them even more cramped. But what it does do is give me balcony inside the model, which is better from a storage point of view for me, because I'm going to be storing 3 of these racked up in a really useful crate, and with these balconies on the outside, that isn't going to work as well. I thought what I'd do is I'd get you to have a look and tell me what you think, which is the best way to go. So the advantages with the balcony on the outside like this is ease of access and simplicity of play, I think. But the downside is there on the outside, there's a good chance they're going to get knocked, and they're going to be a pain in the bum to store. And I've also got to make the balconies, which takes quite a lot of making, and stick them on. Sticking on of them wasn't too bad. I used Yoo-hoo solvent-based adhesive. The other thing is getting them all to line up nice and neat. The downside, we'll have a closer look at it. The internal balcony means they're a bit thinner, so I haven't quite got enough room for a double pair of bases and figures to stand side by side. So that reduces the size of the apartments, which again I'm still not entirely sold on. But actually, hey, most of the time they're just there to make scenery, and it's going to be a bit more fiddly getting hands in to move stuff around a bit. Although the whole point of this model stack is the fact that I can unstack bits and get free access. The plus side of it, I think it looks pretty cool. I haven't painted these yet. We'll have, like I said, I'll bring the camera over in a minute. We'll have a closer look. I haven't painted these yet. They're still only 75%, well, 90% done construction wise. I need to do the windows and a couple other bits of things. But what you do is you get the balcony. I've set a balcony in here, then the walkways behind it. But what you do also get is then the ability to use the big columns as cover. And watchers of things like the 2012 Dredd, when when they get the chain guns out in the inside of the mall and they blaze away at Dredd hiding behind great big lumps of concrete, or in that case actually the film, the lift shaft, is the only thing that saves people. So having that ability to have the extra cover there I think works quite well. So I'm just going to bring the camera over here and we'll have a quick peep, and you tell me what you reckon. If I am going to bin this top way, I'm not going to waste it. I'll peel it away, cut it down and fit that straight in there, so I'm not going to lose my painted bits and my graffiti and stuff. But let's come over here and get a butcher's at this. Here you go. What do you reckon then? Look, I've got the original version of the hab block. What I've done is I've put the 2 hab units side by side, so you can see the balcony run together like that. And then I have put the new version underneath. I think you'll see there's quite a difference. I mean, this gives you kind of long, kind of light looks down here. That's quite neat, which actually this isn't. I could mix them up, I could have a bit of both I suppose, but pretty close. If we did it the other way around, this is what the original one looked like, with the balconies on the outside. And now this is Wayne's suggestion, balconies on the inside. Which do you reckon's better? Which do you think I should make the most of? Okay, so in that case then what are we doing this time? Like I said, I'm not going to do loads and loads of videos about making these hab blocks, because I'm going to make at least, well, I've got one done, although not done if I'm going to change the balconies, but one mostly done, one or mostly done, and then 2 or 3 others that won't take that much, especially when I've settled on exactly how they're going to work. Shops in the ground floor might have, there might be 2 shops in some ground floors, smaller kind of things, that kind of thing, but I don't need to make loads of videos to explain the narrative of all that when I've done a set of them, probably 4, so 2 going this way, which several people suggested I needed walkways and bits and pieces in between, and you're quite right, I had already thought about that. This was one of them. Let's just move the camera around this way over here. This kind of thing is kind of neat, because what it does is it enables me to drop it in between the two units, and it rests really nicely, but that gives a nice walkway in between there. That'll be cool. I could have lists of stuff there, and it will just need another bit of wallway, and that'll be really, really cool. So that's something else to think about. But when I've got two of these done like this, and I've got another two that go over there, then I'll do a quick put them all together on a board, and we'll see what they look like, kind of thing. I reckon that will work really easily, and I could talk about the narratives and the ideas, especially about the shops and the kind of like the blockness of it. The apartments are all going to look very similar. The rest of the mall is going to be what this is going to go around, and just for future warning, there's going to be a zoom, yeah, kind of like what was it? It's a train station. I'm possibly going to have at one end of the mall as well, which would be kind of cool. So I'll tell you more about that another time. I'm going to tell the dogs off. Back in a minute. They're being dicks because it's really cold weather, so they're loving it. But two of them are just being. Okay. First, well, not first of all, because we've done all the other stuff. Apologies if you can hear the fan in the background. It's I don't know, January the 18th, and it's bloody cold this week, even for this end of Essex. Later on in this video, I'll give you an update on the workshops and that kind of thing. Can't now, it's the middle of the night, no point, but we're doing very well. I'm very, very excited. Nearly there. So, what's this video all about then? This build is going to be about a kiosk, fast food kind of like takeaway place on the ground floor of the shopping mall. Now, I could easily, let's just go up here. He says getting a box down off the shelf. I could use these from TTCombat. Yeah, for just a little kind of like fast food stall. I could use the laser cut ones that you can get from Warlord Games. No disrespect to Warlord Games and the laser cut terrain they do for that. I can't remember who actually makes that. Is that through Sarissa? Oh, I can't remember. But I'm enjoying making this terrain like this, which is kind of got a bit of an old school feel to it. You know, I'm using stuff. It's not really junk because I bought it specifically, but stuff that wasn't designed to make scenery out of and phone call. So this model is going to be a bit of that too. This actually is going to be a bit of a junk build. If you've got one of these boxes left over from Christmas, oh monsieur, with these chocolates you are spoiling us, Monsieur Ambassador. You know the ones? Yeah. If you've got a box like this, this is what I'm going to use to make a fast food joint for the shopping mall. I mean, of course, you know, there's advantage to doing this. First of all, this makes this technically, I suppose, a trash bash video, which is kind of cool. That's number one. Number two, you get to eat the 16 rather yummy hazelnut and chocolatey kind of like sweets that are inside it in the first place. So if you didn't get any of these for Christmas and you haven't got any left over, I'd heartily recommend popping to a nearby supermarket and buying a couple. Because actually the shape of this is really cool. I could use this for a couple of different things. I could see this on the back of vehicles for a start as a container, but definitely because of the nice kind of rounded shape and curves to it, which is hard to achieve in your own model making. I'm going to use this for a fast food kiosk. I'm not entirely sure what. I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it so it's got a floor and it's got a seating area outside, and it's going to have a hatch in the side which has got shelves with ketchup and things on it. How are you going to achieve that, Tim? Well, thanks to Mantic Terrain Crate, there are various little bits like that. I'm pretty sure I've got in Cack drawers somewhere that I can dive in and go and look for those. But that is my plan. So it can have kind of like outlets on the top and a hatch and a doorway and that kind of thing. So we're going to go for a Muntz burger kind of like takeaway kind of joint. I probably will use some of the other kind of like pre-made kiosky stuff. We'll see. Although I might, if this works, and I am making this video as I go along, right? I had a go at doing this beforehand. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well, you might not see this video because I might have binned it and gone and bought the laser cut one. But if there's a bunch of laser cut kiosks on my shopping mall and there's no video about shopping malls, then you know it didn't fucking work. Although then I probably won't post this video, so you probably won't know whether it worked or not. So fingers crossed, hope it bloody works. Yeah. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Well, like I said, I like the idea of having a raised thing, and I think it's probably going to need a raised floor. The first question I suppose I need to decide is what I'm going to work with, what other materials. I think this plastic is going to be okay for taking some light paint and cutting into. Certainly a lot better than it used to be. It used to be kind of like, these boxes used to be rigid clear plastic, which were a bit of a bugger to work with. You couldn't have cut into them. I know I could cut bits out of this easy. If I want to put a hatch in here, I'm going to be able to cut that all right. And of course the other nice convenient bit is, of course, it's got a lid that will come off, which means I'll get access into the model if I want, although most of the sitting area is going to be outside. The nice thing about, I suppose, if you have a fast food joint in a shopping mall that's covered, is you don't have to worry about weather and that kind of thing. But yeah, there's enough room in here for me to do a bit of doll's housing and put a little bit of kind of kitcheny stuff and a counter. People can go in there, or we can have the open there and thing. But I am really going to be making this up. So actually, I think the best thing I can do to start off with before I do anything else, I reckon would be to give myself a bit of a leg up, give myself an idea how it's going to work. I need to go digging through the Cack. Yes, indeed. I didn't think I was going to do any digging through the Cack for Judge Dredd, but yes, I am. I'm going to go digging through the Cack. Now, if you are not a regular watcher of my videos, you haven't seen many of them, I am known for digging through the Cack. I have large collections of Cack, although some people were going to be disturbed because I spent some time over Christmas organising Cack. But I have lots and lots of Cack because I've been a gamer for many years, and I've got all kinds of things, and I tend not to throw stuff away. So I'm going to go rooting through different collections of Cack to see what I can find. We're going to pile it up, and then there will be a certain amount of fiddling around with that to see how I can come up with something whimsical and fast foody at the same time. Yes. The W word has already been issued. I'm going to try and spread it out across this video to make it less painful for you in the last 15 minutes. I'm also going to try and make this build slightly shorter than the last one, although like this video anyway, which is an hour and a half, the longest video I've ever made. Better shut up and go and dig for the Cack then, I suppose. Let's do it. Digging through the Cack. Cack, 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 cack. Cack, cack. Right, where's all the Cack kept? Freaking hard to tell really around here, because you know at the minute it's like Steptoe and Son's bloody house. It's all piled up everywhere because I want to move into my new workshop, but it's not fair. How about a workshop update? Update then. This is it. This is the new workshop. Looking pretty good. It's nearly finished. I mean, we're nearly there. Say hello, Adrian. Say hello, Adrian. Look, floor's going in. It's really cool. That's Adrian, my friend Adrian, who's doing well, not my friend Adrian. I don't know him from Adam. But he's a nice Polish chap who's doing all the bloody hard work. It's great. One window to go, and nearly there. Woohoo! Electrics need finishing. Needs more painting. Some of the paint's on. A week to go. A week to go, and that one will be mine. This time next week, I'll be thinking about moving stuff from here. From here, just to here. Then I get my workshop back. Yes. So digging through the Cack. Now, yeah, like I said, one of the things I've done recently is I've got myself these big drawer units, and I've sorted some of my Cack. So some of it now looks like this: sci-fi furniture, sci-fi trim. I don't know whether this really technically counts as digging through the Cack now, because I've organised my Cack. Not all of it, there's still bits we're missing, but don't worry, their life is too short, so there's still boxes of Cack like this, so technically I can still dig through some Cack whilst looking to make this kind of modelly stuff, but I am trying to get quite a lot of my Cack just sorted out, because you know it saves me my life, frankly. There's definitely some stuff in here that I'm definitely going to be able to use. Apart from anything else, look, there's Mantic terrain crate, picnicky tables. I mean, I know I bang on about it all the time, but look at the freaking state of that. Look, that plastic crap. Mantic, oh, your designs are great, and I love the idea of having this kind of thing. It would really enhance my gaming table, but it's, I mean, it's the kind of thing that looks like it's ancient. Well, I mean, good work, I suppose, in some ways, for being weathered and knackered, and the fact that the inhabitants of Bad's 40 block, or whatever it's called, just absolutely trashed it to the point where it's all bent and knackered. But I'd like it to be straight in the first place. Same with this. I mean, look, fuck's sake, the wonkiness of that's just garbage. The plastic is just rubbish, and you know, I mean, I'm gonna have to go and boil a bloody jug of water just to straighten that out. There's one that's straight. I think that's straighter. So I've definitely got seating one way or another. I'm gonna have to fiddle with to put outside this gaff. I mean, there are other bits that come out and they're all right. Look, that's a row of seats. That's Mantic terrain crate, and it's absolutely fine. I'm not going to use that in this model though. That will get used elsewhere in my shopping mall. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I've got the odd thing in here. They're like lockers and stuff. That's no good. Definitely going to use this. Is Mantic terrain crate as well. I'm going to have that around the outside somewhere on the top. A big water kind of like butt type thing. Can't even remember where that comes from. That's a power bank malarkey. That might end up on the back end of one. That might be quite neat. So that, although look, there you go, that's kind of like organised, but so there are definitely bits in there that work. This says sci-fi trim. This is mostly stuff from Maelstroms Edge. They do 2 sets of really cool sci-fi kind of like scenery enhancement sprues, both of which are currently out of stock. I really hope they come back in. But I'm definitely going to be able to use some of this as just to not rough up the edges, to give the model a bit of texture. Then in here, I don't know, old Forge World kind of like, yeah, buggy to get, yeah. So can't remember who sent that to me. This Cack was sent to me by well-meaning viewers. Thank you, which is kind of cool. There's doors and hatchways in here. Oh, it's a lot of Playmobil with a fan. That might be quite neat on the top. This is quite, I don't know, I keep coming across this. This is a contact lens holder. I wonder if I could use that somehow. Maybe on the roof, or yeah, it's quite cool. It's got a left and a right on it. Piping, that's too fat. I've got a drawer of piping over there, smaller. I've got to be careful with a lot of this Cack that I'm digging through in here though, because it's quite necromundery. Things like this is alright. It's just a kind of like a grill. That'll be okay. I could set that in somewhere. But other Cack, yeah, got to be careful with. Let's just move a few vehicles out of the way over here. We've got I like this. See, this is it. I need to find a friend who's got can supply me with more of these contact lens things. That's quite cool. I like this. We'll try and work where I can put that. I might, if I could get some more of these. Are these contact lens holders? If I could get more of these would make really cool side windows in the apartments. Actually, see, this is still a proper Cack box. Got necromunda shit in it, and random glass bottles and garland lights. Don't work. Oh, I haven't taken the thing out of that. That will work. 2p pieces, lots of old needles, backpacks, all kinds of Cack in there. Yeah, not coming out with much though for this shop, am I really? Don't know whether this is the right way to go. I mean, I could do. What I need to do actually, in some ways, is settle on the floor level inside, and then I can work out what's going to go in it. And whether I want punters inside the shop or not. I mean, it needs to be mostly kitchen, I suppose, with a hatch cut out there. Well, this is not helping. Right, I'm going to go over to the organised Cack and keep looking for a minute. Hang on. And then there's also this stuff, which I think is. I've thrown the boxes away now. I think. This could also be Mantic, which is a bit different. Look, this is kind of cool. Look, that's exactly exactly what I need to this, because that is for a fast food thing, and that will sit really nicely along the side there underneath the thing, and that'll be really cool. There's an air venting extractor thing that can go on the top. That'll work. I don't know what the rules and regulations are going to be about pumping junk out into the... Right, okay, that's kind of cool. It's only one of those. Only one of those, that's kind of annoying. There's also a canopy. I ain't going to need a canopy though, because it's not going to need to keep the weather off. Yeah, it's a shame there's only one of those. I bet that was an expensive box as well. But that'll work perfectly well then. Right. Okay. I need to decide what I'm going to do. Bit stuck in a minute. Bear with. Although 5 to 1 in the morning, I might just jack it in and go to bed and sleep on it and see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, sod it. I mean, hang on. This is not Cack over here. But I am just leaning it. Oh shit! There goes a workshop. Just grabbing some 10mm XPS foam. This might be the kind of stuff that will work quite well around the outside. See, 10mm. I think it's going to be raised up a little bit. Oh, I think a raise. Give me a person. A person stood on it outside the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely needs to be at least the floor needs to be 10. Quick experiment. Get a, that's too wide, Tim. Too wide. Not wide enough, but the right kind of length. Hang on, need some knives. Need some knives. Where's my knife box? Here's my knife box. Get me knives out. Here we go. Do you like my knife box? Good, isn't it? Right, okay. Just from a height point of view, I'll just cut that roughly there for me. This is just a quick experiment. This is what I find myself doing in the end, is you have to experiment with this stuff to mess around with it. Of course, the other thing is not everybody in this world is prepared to do all that and show it on video, but I tend to find it's quite useful. It's all part of the process, really, to me. So that, if I put... Get out, you fecker. Obviously, this is not going to be what I'm going to use because it ain't wide enough, but just cut off a corner or two like that for it, just to stick that in there. Right, that would give the floor and the height. There's a little dude in there. So this is how I start playing around, and I reckon in that 10mm in there would be okay. That would give you about. I'll have to raise it up outside as well, but if I set this in a kind of like arty-farty little rectangle of 10mm foam, that might do the job actually. Get a steel rule out. What we got? So this is... The box is just under 6 centimetres, so I reckon if I made a... Take one of these useful books I've got in front of me. That's not a book, you idiot, that's a can of Coke. Move your Cack boxes out of the way. Yeah, okay, I'm getting the flow now. Now it's 5 to 1 in the morning, I ought to go to bed. I'm getting the bloody flow, aren't I? Okay, so look, there's the Rogue Stars book. How big is the Rogue Stars book? Rogue Stars is 7 inches by 10 inches, which is smaller than the 2000 AD, the Judge Dredd rules, which is why I'm using it. Not being, you know, and that and the fact that, hey, everybody, you could use this game. Scenery for Rogue Stars. Well, look, there we go. I'm going to place that there for a minute, and then just to give you an idea, I'm going to place that on there, right? And then, yeah, I'm liking this now. Okay, so this, you bastard. this here could be the power unit thing that goes outside the back of the thing. That would work. And then this way, then this is the, actually it's almost, this is the fun bit. It's frustrating to start with, but then you start getting ideas. Well, that's lockers. I don't know who made those lockers, but they're quite neat. Look at the shapes, all the stuff on the back of that. That would be really cool for painting. I mean, it's been pot painting before. But then, yeah, I mean, that's, I could easily have either the water kind of like tower on top, although I reckon that's probably going to be a bugger to stick on. Or that could mount around the back, piping in there, and then with some trim. And this whole area then could be seating areas. Let's find those crappy plastic tables from Mantic Terrain Crate. I hope somebody from Mantic Terrain Crate is watching this, getting upset at the fact I'm calling their tables crappy, because they are. I mean, they'll do the trick, but I'm going to have to go boil them in water first, which is, I just think, a bit sucky, really. You know, but look, there we go. Look, I could have tables like that, arranged like that, or I could have one of these really stupid wobbly ones. Whoop whoop up the end. Blah blah blah. Blah. Oh, that's a bit big. Let's get another kind of civilian. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. We could do that like that, and then rubbish bins around about the place. Door in here. That cool. Oh, shit, I've lost it. What have I done with it? Oh, it's up here. So the hatch open. Actually, I could have the hatch open along this side here. All of that, and then the door in the back. Lost it. Here we are. Door, Maelstroms Edge in the back. That would work. And then some gubbins on the roof. Like that extractor. Kind of like a set of fans that I've freaking well lost. I haven't got that much stuff here. Oh, there's one. Alright. That might go quite nicely on the roof like that. Above the cookers. Like that. And we could have it. And then I've got room for a sign. And it could always have a bit of extra, I don't know, foam core or something out over the top, giving a bit of a canopy. Solid kind of thing. Alright. Okay. So this is looking a bit more of a plan. So what I'm going to need to do is find myself. Good luck doing that. Shit. I've no idea. Somewhere in this workshop, somewhere in here, I've hopefully got some more 10mm XPS foam. I could always do it in foam core. Whatever the main bit of the layout is going to be done in foam core or XPS foam, depending on what I can find in this goddamn pile of nonsense that is currently the space I'm using as a workshop. I can't wait to get my new workshop done. Did you like the look of it, by the way? It's pretty cool, isn't it? So yeah, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a rectangle. I'll cut the edges off. About 12mm up, maybe 14. Doesn't matter if it's not the same height there. A couple of little nice little steps up in a couple of places. Yeah, that's okay. Right, that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. That is now the plan for getting this done, but not tonight. Screw this and go to bed. Right, so I found myself a piece of 10mm XPS foam. What I've done now is I'm laying a food bar out onto the actual thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around it in a minute, get an idea where it's going to go. So I'm making sure there's enough room for a 25mm base around the back side of the thing. Normally I suppose it ought to be right up against there, but I quite like the idea of being able to get around it, and I don't know, because we're going to have, it's going to be the water barrel or power unit, wherever the hell that is. That's going to sit there, and that's going to join it and have a power unit here. So then there'll be a bit of room up here between the two things for characters to go in there, and then the door to it I'm going to probably fit over this side, so the back side of it, and there might be the odd space, the odd extra bit, which is kind of cool. So that's what I'm going to do first of all. So I'm going to turn this upside down. I'll just take the lid, I think, draw around the lid where I want it to go. Alright, and then I'm going to cut it out. Now, Oh, of course I do have a fancy schmancy proxen, but I don't know how to do that with a achieve that with a proxen. Just use a Stanley knife. Well, scalpel blade. And then this area out here is going to be the seating area. Sharp pencil. Now the lid, of course, is wider than the base, but that's fine. Basically just sitting there, and there's a little bit of gap. There's a little bit of gap. I think what I might actually have to do, it's not squeeze it too hard, because this plastic's quite squishy. You've got to be careful not to push down it too much. I think what I might have to do is, if necessary, put this on a plastic rigid base to hold it, to protect the polystyrene. There's my shape. So now to cut that out, that and hopefully then will sit inside that. It's got a bit bigger. Not very happy about that. There's quite a lot of difference. Even that was sitting quite neatly. Do you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to turn this upside down. Give that another go. And I'm going to put it over this crappy damaged bit of polystyrene so that gets cut out. So power unit goes there again. What I actually think I'm going to do, now I've turned the box upside down, so I'm going to squash it down into the polystyrene, because I'm hoping that I won't have to draw around, I'll get a more accurate shape. That's the inner lip, so that'll be certainly give me the corners. I don't know how close we can see that. Well, there's a corner in there, I can draw around that and draw straight lines up to join that up. I'm going to cut that out, and then hopefully that. Why am I doing that? Just get a Sharpie or something, go over the top of it, be able to see it nice and clear. Idiot, not good. Sat at the right desk for Sharpies. As always, oh, I'll draw straight lines. You don't need to see me draw a straight line. So it's very faint to see, but I've taken a pen, gone over the line that I've carved in there. Now I'm going to take a scalpel, I'm going to cut that out, and hopefully this is going to sit inside that. Alright, that should do. Cut my hole out now. So hopefully my biscuit chocolate sweet pot is going to sit in there, nice. And in fact, what it does is it sinks down a little, which means I might be able to lift it up a bit, which would be more fun from have steps that point of view. And then hopefully, I want to check it out. I've cut this bit out in the middle, so that might fit neatly inside the box. Go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. Sure, go on, go on. Sorry for the terrible Irish accent. It's not on, is it really? Using the compressive power of XPS foam, we have what I might need to do. Fuck, I got stuck in there. It's too long, so what I might do is, if I can get it out, which ain't looking promising, it's going to ping out any minute now. I can get it out, I might slice it in half, chop out a tiny little wedge in the middle, put it back together. Doesn't matter if there's a gap in the floor there. So, let's try that. Take a knife, slice it in half, and then just trim off. It's about 2mm. Drop that inside. It's also just a little bit too wide as well. This is a little bit kind of like fiddly, diddly. But if I do that, not wasting any XPS, and it's already got the right rough shape to go in there. So let's just trim down the sides a little. Probably going to go down both sides. Hopefully then this will form the floor inside the fast food bar. Tiny little bit, we get that there, yeah. Remembering to use a super sharp knife. Can't be asked to get the foxhole out just for that, but then let's check that out. Alright, there's a tiny bit of overlay, look. Well, it's kind of working, so. Any joins I'll probably fiddle with kind of like furniture stuff. Floor. Okay. Now I've got to stick that in. I reckon the best bet for sticking that in when I get around sticking that in is going to be to stick it in with Gorilla all-purpose. No, not Gorilla. Well, no. See, most stuff will melt XPS foam, so I'm going to have to use like Gorilla glue, woodwork, PVA glue, or I could hot glue it. I could hot glue that in. That would work quite well. That'll hold it in place pretty quick too. I think my best bet actually would be to cut out a solid base for this bit to sit on, stick it to that, and then hot glue that into there. Yeah, but we can see, we're getting the idea around the back here. I've got enough space now for my water tank, and the door's going to fit on the back like that, and then me power unit generator thing sit around the back here like this, but then it also gives me enough space for judge figures to take cover behind things like that. And then this area out here is going to be seated. Arse cakes. Because one of the things, the problem with working in winter time and having freezing temperatures outside is at night it's freezing temperatures in here, which means sometimes your glue freezes. Shit. Oh well, I'll see if I can find another bottle. Okay, that's both surfaces glued. I'm going to wait for 5 minutes or so. It's warmish in here with the air heater going. To let that go off, and I'm going to stick that on. I'm going to weigh that down, let that go off completely, and then I'm going to think about sticking this in here. Although I'm not going to stick this in here until I'm ready to stick it in, because I'm going to need it out so I can cut out doors and windows and things. So we'll see how we go. Okay, so making progress. Decided a couple of other things. I'm thinking I'm probably not going to use this this nice hard rigid plastic stuff from other Mantic stuff on the top for air vents, because this is a trash bash, of course. So I'm going to use these, which are from Hello Fresh deliveries. We get our creme fraiche or our sour cream with these, and I'm going to stick them up. They're going to be air extractors on the top. I think that'll look quite neat. And then I need to come up with maybe some kind of sign. It needs some signage. God knows how I'm going to do that. But it would be kind of cool if it had some kind of signage. Maybe I could use some of the day glowy plastic I got from TTCombat. We'll have to experiment with that. Have a look, see what I can do. Now you will have noticed that I haven't done my normal texture, the XPS foam. That's because it's a modern build and I want it to be like slick, modern, kind of like concrete or whatever else. So I haven't bothered doing that. It's indoors, slick, inside a shopping mall, smooth surface. So I will of course have to seal it with Mod Podge before I spray it, but it's going to be a fairly simple, straightforward job. Right, okay, so this, while we're here, here's my fast food booth, and I know that this door is going to go over this side. Now I'm kind of concerned that as soon as I start cutting into this, I'm going to kind of wreck the structural integrity of the plastic a little. What's going on that end, isn't it? So I'm a bit bothered about doing this, but I don't think I've got haven't really got any choice. I've definitely got. I think I'm going to probably pack the bottom of this with hot glue gun glue. Now, I know what you could be thinking right now. You could be thinking, Jesus, Tim, this is a lot of hassle compared to getting a laser cut MDF fast food booth. And do you know what? You're bloody right, it is. However, it'll be the only one I've made, and one made like it. Even if I made another one, it won't be exactly the same because I will have learned from the process. So from that point of view, I'm down with that. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is, now that fits in better, I might pack that in with hot glue underneath it. I can't use any other glue really. This then is the door. It's Maelstroms Edge door. It's got a nice, what's cool about it actually is it's got just a rectangle frame behind. Of course, the fucking, you know, marking it with a pencil's no bleeding good, is it? But, oh no, there's a bit of scratch there. If I use a, it's quite a nice funky looking door. I'm regularly checking the Maelstroms Edge website to see if there's, if they've produced any more. But they're sprues, well worth buying. I'd really do recommend those. Actually, there's a line there. I'm going to go across there. This is where I need a bloody Sharpie. Where have all my Sharpies gone, you feckers? Still, or even that orange pen, I don't know. I am going to cut a rectangle out of this. I am concerned it's going to affect the structural integrity of the plastic book. This is the big experiment, kids. It's how tough is the Ferrero Rocher box. I suppose if I cut plastic out and then stick another bit of plastic back in, it won't necessarily affect the structural integrity too much. In fact, the bit of plastic I'm putting back in is way more rigid than the bit of plastic I'm cutting out. You know, might improve the structural integrity. Who knows? Now I'm using several tentative cuts to start off with, rather than just stabbing the fucking thing. Otherwise, what's likely to happen is I'll just bleed all over the workshop. See, if you guys look, that's interesting. If you go too fast, you go steer, that just steers off, cracks. That's fecked. Although fortunately, it's gone into the doorway, which is okay, because I'd scored it already, so it hasn't completely shagged the rest of the box. Going for the ridge now, which you need a sharper knife, heavier duty blade. I don't know which kind of glue is going to be best to stick that back in with. I'm thinking probably super glue. It's going to sit there like that. That might do that. Okay, now while we're still looking for bits to go in the actual model itself, the next place to look, again, is more organised Cack. This is one of my boxes of sprues. Check this out. This is loads of stuff I just haven't taken off sprues. This is the easiest way to store it. There are ash waste walkways in here. There are raw Necromunda marketplace sprues in here. There are, there's the odd Hadron Raider thing. I think there's, God knows what there is. Oh look, there's some Hadron Raiders, in fact, no less. Oh no, no, oh, I don't know what they are. Yeah, they are. That looks like. Yeah. Yeah, some Age of Sigmar Hadron Raiders. There's stuff from other companies as well. It's just it's easier than one day I've got this kind of like dream that I would have found enough time to sit down and just gone through all of this, clipped it all off and stuck it all in different places where it needs to go. Not going to happen, is it? So it's just easier to keep it on sprues, and that way you find something like this. I just saw two of those. That's cool. This I think is also from Maelstroms Edge. Just put them to one side for a minute, get rid of this box, and we'll have a quick butcher's. This I'm hoping is going to help out a little bit. What I don't want this model to do is look particularly 40k. I was particularly looking for stairs, and I don't necessarily want to use steps, little steps from what's it called? Necromunda. But this is a sprue that I've obviously used same bits off a couple of times from Maelstroms Edge for making buildings. It's got handy kind of like windows and power grills and things on it. Look, right? And kind of like, oh no, hatchways and walkways and plates and doorways. There's a couple of doorways there, which have got kind of curtains and kind of hovelly things. But what is cool is there is right here a set of steps. Look, which I think would be quite neat if I cut them into. I'm wondering if I could cut them into the side of one of these, or put two of them side by side so there's a set of steps up onto the eating platform. So I'll have a look at that in a minute. This is also quite good. Look, there's a power fuse box right here. That'll look quite cool. That'll go on the outside, and there are lights and bits and pieces. So that was a handy thing to go and dig out. I'll put them to one side. I've also found, I'm going to see if I could find enough. I have no idea where this stuff came from. I know it came from my friend Edward. He gave me loads of this. I don't know what kits these are from, but these look like they'll fit quite nicely in the base of the actual thing. So I might have a metal griddy kind of floor in there. I'll see if I can got enough of that to make that fit on the floor. Now the XPS foam is now stuck to the base. So I'm going to do a couple of things to this. I'm going to take a ruler and a sharp pencil, and I'm just going to draw in some lines that match the edge to make it a little bit more of an interesting kind of like floor, because I'm not going to tin foil texture this like I normally do, because I want it to be solid kind of plasma marble or whatever. Anything Judge Dredd works, right? If you want some kind of like building construction, you just have to stick the word plas in front of it to imply plastic. So plas glass, plascrete, in this case plas marble. So that works quite well. Look, my door is stuck in okay, mostly okay. It's a bit shonky. By the time that's stuck in, it's permanent. That ain't going anywhere. This plastic is kind of flimsy. That is the downside to it. It's going to need a little step. Actually, it's going that way around. It will need a little step up to the door from the floor here, but that's all right. And then, and the other thing I need to do is cut the window into it on this side over here. When I cut the window in, then I'm really at the point of just finding Cack and dressing the whole thing. So the window is the next key issue. Super gluing into the bottom. Not super gluing. Going to probably glue gun glue the 10mm foam stuff, what's it called, XPS foam, into the base of that as well. And then when that's glued in, I've cut the window in, I'm probably going to glue the whole thing in place using hot glue, because that will help make the whole thing more rigid, help hold the door in place. I hope that's what I'm going to achieve. So let's have a think about the window. Need to find a frickin' Sharpie. Yeah. Not around here. Oh well. Alexa, play. Okay then, I cut out a couple of steps here and here to try and fit those steps in. They're a little bit large, we'll see how we can do it. And now, whoops. Now I'm just going to work out where I'm putting this window. I think I'm going to cooking gear up this end, and I think the window's going to be pretty much central Doesn't need to be the whole width of this shelf unit, mind. Quite happy for the shelf unit to stick out a little. I'm going to have it so it doesn't cut through this top rim here. It does go into this double thickness, I think. So that way there's still some plastic holding together the whole side of the box. I'm using a Sharpie now so we can see the line marks I'm making, so I can see what line marks I'm making. I think what's going to happen is that way there, cut this out. It doesn't matter that I'm drawing on the side of the box with a Sharpie, because of course it's all getting painted anyway. As soon as it's primed inside and out, I'll lose that blue bit there. But that there then gives me my window. So hopefully we're going to cut that, and then my condiments shelf is going to go across it like that. Ow, bollocks! It's done exactly what I thought it would do. I was going too close to the edge, and look, fucking broken it. Look, cut that, snap right through there. I reckon I'll be able to sort that out when I stick that back in place. It's not absolutely the end of the world, I don't think. I mean, by the time I stick it back and the roof goes on, it'll hold it all in place. But it's bloody annoying. It's because the plastic's super flimsy, and you look, you can see as I've been working on it, and it's flexed and all the rest of it. The super glue holding the door came off as well. But now I've got it and it fits and that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that if I glue gun this in here, that will give it some rigidity, and I can start to build it back up. It's like, but it does kind of like work. I'm quite happy with that. Oops, there's my condiments shelf now. Going to go across underneath there. That'll look kind of cool. So I think my best bet, for my own sanity's sake, is to find just, and that way, yeah, it's my condiments shelf for part of me else to cover up the fact that it's not an entirely straight cut across here. And across here, I might put some kind of sci-fi trim. I don't actually need that bit there. I could probably cut that out. That might be the easiest way to go, because the roof is going to hold it all in place, hold it together, so that'll do fine. But yeah, this is bloody annoying. But I'll put some sci-fi trim around the window edges and all the rest of it. I'll find suitable things to stick on when we do the digging through the Cack for the and the using of the Cack that we found. So right, next steps then are fine hot glue gun. Glue in this into place. Glue in the floor pieces into place, and then go from there. Yeah, okay, works for me. However, while I am doing that, I am going to have a chocolate, because while I was out today, don't know what day it is, Saturday, 20th September, I just so happened to find a bigger box of these little beauties. What's that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 30 of them in a box. Bigger box. I've never seen a box like this size. So different shop that's going to be on the shopping mall. See how I suffer for my art, for you people. I do this just for you, you know. I'm going to have to eat all 30 of these rather yummy, chocolate, crispy covered, hazelnut kind of sweety things. And I will be spoiling myself just like the ambassador does, just for you people. I won't enjoy any of it at all. I'm just doing it entirely so I can have the box, okay? Oh no, it's going to be awful. Good. £8 for the box. No, £8 for the scenery. Chocolates are free. Okay, so now I'm at the point where I have used hot glue to, I could turn it off, couldn't I? Stick these steps in. Stick the base in, stick this in there. Trying to make it not too messy. I'll cover up most of it if with stuff stuck in these plates, which now gives me a cool texture on the kitchen floor. And I'm thinking before doing anything else, what I need to do actually is Mod Podge the XPS foam, because that's going to be able to take spraying and painting. And if I Mod Podge the XPS foam, then I can stick other things directly on top of it as well. It's going to protect it while I glue things as well. So that's got to be, I think, my next mission. That makes the most sense. So, yeah, Mod Podge. Okay, so the Mod Podge is now on here. I've got to let that dry. I've super glued the door back on the back. I hope that's alright. I'm messing around with positioning for bits on the top. When this is dry, I'm going to super glue, or attempt to super glue, I hope super glue is going to work, the condiment shelf in place along this buckly bit of plastic. And then I'm going to have a fiddle with some other bits inside and out. That might require a little bit more digging through the cack. But for a minute, I'm going to let this dry. When it's dry and we've dug through the cack or we've stuck some things on, then it'll be time to paint. Hooray, 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 it's time to paint. But for the moment, I just need to let a whole bunch of Mod Podge dry off. Hurrah! XPS foam is dry, the Mod Podge on it. I've got stuck on here the condiment shelf. The door is stuck in the back. I think hopefully it's in there a little bit better. It's not terrific, mind you. I'm not going to show what I'm going to do with that. Although I need to put a step in underneath here. There's too much of a step up. On the roof I have stuck, because I'm trash bashing this, of course, remember, using bits of junk. That's my bit from my last night's dinner. And that looks, I've put that onto a little square plate with rivets on it. It looks quite cool. So that's going to sit on the top there. I need to leave enough room for, I could put a couple more of those plates, I think, one way or another, on here. Something like this. This is quite nice. Bit of junk, another bit of cack. That may go on there as well, like that. But then I want to, which would have been better if I put that central, but I haven't really. And I need to work out if I'm going to have a sign of some description on here or not, which would be quite cool. Right, okay, so this is the cool bit now, because now I need to, apart from with things like benches that are going to go out around the outside, I need to kind of like add stuff to make it work as a cafe. This is like the extra bit, the cack digging and whatever, the rewarding part, the fun bit, making it all up. So I'm starting with the obvious bits I've looked at already. This big thing, blocky malarkey, I'm sticking at the back here. I'm going to have that as some kind of power generator type thing. That's quite cool, because that's going to cover up some of the mank that I've left with my hot glue. And then I'm going to use this, which is from Mantic terrain crate around the other side. That's a kind of water tower type malarkey. And I'm going to stick that so it's at the corner there, so we've got enough space here to get a figure like lurking in the corner like that. It's quite important. Oh, you can't really see that. It's quite important, I think, when you're working out these models, to make sure you've got playable spaces and stuff. So power unit here, water tank there. That then gives us, of course, I've made sure that this back bit here has got enough room to actually get a figure base on it completely. That works quite well. And I need to put a step under that. Don't know what I'm going to do to step out of. It needs to be plastic of some description. And then I've got round the front, I've got, that's a Mantic vending machine. So for drinks, I think that will look kind of cool. Stuck on the front there as well at one end. And then I need some plates and pipes and crap stuck to the outside of the actual unit, I think. Oh, and I need to detail the inside. God knows how I'm going to detail the inside. But I want a cooking range and a fridge. I have got somewhere on this pile of shite over here. A solid lump of that's a chest freezer, which is quite cool. And I think I might take at least one of these Mantic tables like that and use that as the counter inside the model. So I'm going to just mess around now, stick a bunch of stuff to this, and we'll have a look in a minute what I've come up with. Alright, so I already could be accused of being in danger of doll's housing this too much. I've just made myself a little kind of cooking range. Check it out. Alright, that's going to go in here next on the inside of the wall where the power unit is. I've got a storage crate and a freezer up this end. I can't decide with these things whether I should stick them in and paint them, or paint them and then stick them in. I might leave them out loose as it goes, and then just all go sticking on. I've got a little set of drawers. They're not very spacey, but to be quite honest, it's a set of drawers, isn't it? So I think I'm going to have that over on this side over here. Probably not there though, because you won't be able to open next to the range. There you go, see, I'm doing that again. And I could really do with a sink of some description. It needs a sink. Because I've got a water tower. So, you know, it needs to washing up facilities. Fuck's sake. And leave the old computer panel on the wall. It's kind of 40k, but it'll do real nice. That's by the, that could be the till then. I'm going to cut the back off that. And I'm going to, but then, actually, you know, get to the point of going, ah, stop it. Don't put any more on, because it's, you do, well, it's so much fun. It's ridiculous. It's one of my favourite parts, really, is to sit in there going, oh, what do I need? What would I need in my futuristic takeaway place? Okay, I'm actually, gotta say, I just put the lid on this. I'm ridiculously pleased with this. At the minute, you can see through it. You're not going to be able to see through it because I'm going to spray it. But look, there is the food bar. Let's just find a little chap, stand next to it. It's a decent height. Also have a current judge. That works, even on their bases, which of course makes them much bigger. Have I stuck that on permanently yet? I haven't stuck on that drinks dispenser. But I've got a nice little bit across there. I haven't stuck on my water tower. I have made a sink that we could see from behind, which is ridiculous. The chests in there are not stuck in. I stuck a couple of bits on the roof, which is kind of cool. One bit, this bit here, which is the same thing I made the step out of, I've done because the TTCombat buildings that I'm not using have got these really cool day glow signs. This one says Noodles on it. When I peel the back off, it'll look really, really cool. And I'm going to mount that when the model is done. I'm going to mount the Noodles bit over there like that, so that will actually have a really kind of funky, futuristic. I'll zoom in on that. There you go. That's going to look really, really cool. So I'm not going to stick anything else there to this. I'm going to start to get it painted, going to get it sprayed up and painted, see what it looks like. Because otherwise I'm in danger of, yeah, overdoing it. And I don't need to, I really, really don't need to. It's only a fast food joint. But by the time, as you can see, by the time it's got some benches outside, bench kind of thing, or down the sides there, it's going to look really, really cool. Nice little thing. Okay, look, check it out. Here we are. This is it, undercoated. Put a couple of figures on there. Judge, Juve. Pew, pew, pew. It kind of works. I'm really pleased with that. Actually, by the time I put this thing up here that says Noodles, which just gets super glued on at the end, that's going to look kind of cool. So, this is always one of my favourite bits, of course, of making a model, is the spraying it, the priming, because then, of course, it blends all the different bits together. But actually, yeah, it's a nice shape. I'm happy with that. The good bits on there, I need to paint it. Now, I think I'm going to paint this blue or red, or quite strong colour, mainly because so much of the rest of the terrain is going to look like this. And I want this to kind of stand out. So we'll have a kind of whitish floor, plasmarble. Plazable, I don't know, pliable, but the actual booth, I think it's going to be fairly bright colours. That'll be quite cool. And then of course on the inside, a few details, floor to paint, sink, cooking range, and then a couple of bits of scatter terrain. Then they're going to go inside it as well. Well, probably won't be scattered by the time I'm done with it. I'll stick them in, but paint them separately. That's kind of cool. And that way, I've got my kitchen. I've got my booth. Around the back is good, like this step there and that kind of thing. It's just a nice little thing. So I'll give you a small bit of on a table, but I mean it takes up a reasonable amount of space. It's kind of neat. So I think that's what we need to do. We need to get it painted now, and it will look pretty cool. Alright, I haven't made you sit through the agony of me painting scenery. Actually, let's just take some figures off for a minute. I have painted this piece of scenery though, and I'm really quite pleased with it. It's okay. The paint job's alright. It's basic tabletop-y kind of stuff. Take those off there, but I am quite pleased. It wasn't until, of course, I'd finished painting it I realised, blimey, I've painted my noodle bar in the same colour as a Judge, but this is it. This is the painted model. Look how cool that is. Got to hand it to it. The bit I stole from TTCombat, the Noodles bit, that looks absolutely wicked on the top there. I couldn't replicate that at all whatsoever. But here we have our painted Noodles bar. It's called Doodle's Noodles, and there's the DN on the front. And so for the outside, it's quite a nice size thing. Look, I can't decide if I'm going to stick tables on permanently or just have them where I want them. And let's add, well, got to add a couple of fatties, haven't we, really? Although it wasn't until about 10 minutes ago when I was going to make this, I realised I've been a bit ableist, really, when it come to making my noodle bar, because what it has got steps up, but there's no ramp for belly-wheeled fatties, which is no good at all. Conveniently, in the Mega City Angry Mob, or whatever it's called, there's a very convenient little dude. There he is, with a pan and a chopper, who of course could be a very annoying kind of like person in an angry mob, but he also works very well, stood being the proprietor of Doodle's Noodles. There he is. Look, now we can take. I'm going to take all these off now so we can have a quick look inside. Basic paint job I've gone for here. I don't want to go for anything complicated, but now we can see the inside of the floor. Look, I have painted and stuck in the fridge, the freezer, and this chest here, and also that set of drawers at the back. And I managed to find a bit of cack that I could turn into a sink at the back as well. So cooking range next to power, sink, water outside, drawers for putting stuff away. They're kind of cool. Computer on this wall for taking customers' orders. Condiments bar out the front with soy sauce and mustard and ketchup on it, and napkins. Drinks machine. Some of this is going to take a bit of tidying up paint wise, but which I'll go around to. But to be quite honest, I'm really happy with it, and I want to get on, and it's going to look great on the tabletop. So I'm going to stick Doodle in there. Put my fatties on, and already with Barcloids in the background and my city blocks have bits. I think it's starting to look quite cool. I'm going to bring the camera down here in a minute. I've got to say though, it's been an interesting experience because good shape. The box is a good shape, and this is also a good shape. This will make quite a good size one. There is a bit of a cautionary tale to this though. I do in some ways advise you have a go doing this. Be cool. It's not an expensive piece of scenery to make. The box of guest spoiling chocolates. It's only a £5. Few pence worth of XPS foam. Some Cack, some bought components. I think a very effective piece of terrain that It's 7.5 inches by 9 inches or so. Makes an interesting feature in the middle of the shopping mall. The cautionary tale though is this: you have to be really careful with it. The plastic that the box is made from is not really model grade kind of plastic. It doesn't work with many glues. Everything is super glued on and it's on, but I know if I pick it up in the wrong place, if I squeeze it in the wrong place, bits are gonna pop off and drop off, and that's super annoying. So if you make scenery out of this, you have to be prepared for the fact that there's going to be a certain amount of continual maintenance with them. But it is pretty cool. I have nothing against laser cut MDF terrain. It gets people playing games real quick, and if you only happen to do it well, it looks cool. I just want my tables to be unique and be my thing, and I want people to not necessarily feel they have to go down the laser cut MDF route. I hope that making this stuff and making this stuff helps you think that you could do likewise, and you two can have a unique tabletop. It doesn't have to look like mine. That's not the point of what I do. I'm making stuff for me. But if you see something that I've done and you kind of like the look of it, then happy days, go for it. So if you like this model, please make sure you make a comment down below. Give this video a like, subscribe, do share it. Like I said at the start of this video, and it's a couple of days since I started making this video, the apartment stack video is my biggest video actually now since 2021, which is just freaking awesome. So thank you so much for everybody who's watched, who's clicked like. The more than 100 subscribers I've got since I put out the last video. Really close to getting to 6,000 subscribers now, which is kind of cool. So thank you very much. Do share this with other people in the hobby, because I'd love to be able to do that. Doesn't make any difference really in the long run. I don't think I'm ever going to be one of these guys who's got like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, but it's nice to know that people are watching. And for the first time in a long time, the last video got more views than I had subscribers, which is also pretty cool. So if you are new to my videos, please subscribe. If you and then go back and watch others. If you're not new to my videos and you're one of the old hands, thank you for sticking with me. I hope you found this video as watchable and as useful as some of the others have been. So yeah, click like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, share it around with people. Of course, if you want to support me more, then you can always sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/MagicTheaterBuilderWorlds. Check that out too. But in the meantime, do you know what? I don't know what's going to come next. I might. Well, there might be another Judge Dredd build before I start on doing some stuff for Salute. I've got to get on with some stuff for Salute for Boroughs and Badgers, but I'm really enjoying making this Dredd stuff. So, and I've just had a bunch of stuff arrive in the post that I'm hoping to do something with, which is pretty cool as well. So, but we have also got on the go over here. You could just see a space shuttle for Star Wars stuff, printed for me by Sammy Scenics. Because yeah, can't be asked. Yeah, I mean, I've got, there's loads of stuff going on. The good news is my Sunday, by the middle of next week, by about the 23rd, I think, of January, my new workshop is going to be ready. So next weekend, whatever the hell the date that is going to be, 27th, I will be moving into it, and hopefully getting settled a little bit. Woohoo! But in the meantime, keep watching. Thank you for watching Magic Theory Builder World. There's an awful lot to watch. If you think I have a project I could be doing, if you like this, if you didn't like it, let me know. Thank you for watching Magic Theory Builder World. I will see you next time. What's that you say? Can we have a closer look at the Noodles Doodles? Doodles Doodles? Whichever it is. Hell yeah, come on, down here.